Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
I just MailChimped my marketing.
You MailChimped your what?
I MailChimped my marketing with AI to create an effective marketing campaign in minutes.
No, MailChimp and Way.
Yes, MailChimp and Way. Now I can hyper-personalize my campaigns across email and SMS.
You can do all that with MailChimp?
What did I just MailChimp and say?
MailChimp your marketing with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-ons. Visit MailChimp.com.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, and there's so much to share. With classics like Caramel Brulee Latte, Peppermint Mocha, and Chestnut Praline Latte, we're celebrating everyone's flavor of festivity. Order yours in the app.
Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.
I mean, come on. That's real cute, Muffin, but you don't mean that.
So, I do. I really do. I don't give a fuck.
Well, so much for starting out the podcast PG. Thanks, Mumford. Now, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. That was just an illustration of the antithesis or the opposite of what we are going to be talking about today. We're not going to be talking about not giving a fuck. We're going to be talking about giving a fuck. And might as well make this as rated R as possible. Parental guidance is suggested on this episode. No, after this, we should be good. So what are we going to be talking about today? We are going to be talking, well, first, let me back up. Today is going to be another same-day delivery podcast, just because that's the way life is right now, and that's the way I have got to do it. So I'm getting this out a little bit late, probably, if you're getting this today on Tuesday, the 12th, a day before my birthday. You will be getting this a little bit late because of that, but we're going to be talking about purpose today. Because, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about a lot of technical stuff. We've talked about a lot of mindset stuff. We've talked about spiritual stuff. We've talked about the law of attraction. We've talked about, breathing and just bettering yourself and self-help and biohacking. We've talked about it all. But one thing I haven't really focused on in an episode, at least, is purpose. And the beginning was just meant to illustrate how a lack of purpose and kind of that feeling of a depressed state that we can be in. And I know all about that, but I also know all about having a purpose and having that being infused into your work. We're talking a lot about these kind of intangible things that we're infusing into our work because, I can talk about painting all you want, but I'm really not going to be able to walk you through how to make a good painting. But one thing I can walk you through is how to infuse your work with something that has value, that has purpose, that will resonate with the people who are viewing it, the viewer, the collector, the gallery, whoever you're trying to get this in front of. And it doesn't have to be a painting. Obviously, it can be a photograph. It can be a sculpture. It can be whatever medium you're working on. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about infusing your work with purpose and your life, really. I mean, that's more important, is really infusing your life with purpose. And that's going to reflect on your work. And that's going to just go downstream and be of value and going to be something that, impacts a lot of people. Sorry, I'm getting a scam likely call. It just threw me off. But what is purpose? And why should we care about purpose in our work and in our lives? I mean, purpose is really just the fuel that keeps us going. It is our why. It is what gets us up out of bed every morning. It's what makes our relationships good. It's what makes our life good. It's like the lever that pulls all the levers, because if you don't have purpose, you don't have hope. If you don't have purpose, you don't have the why. If you don't have purpose, you don't really have the presence of mind to be present in the moment, because you're just out to sea. You're on a boat with no rudder. That's what it's kind of like. And for me, I started out with my purpose heavily. Well, actually, at the beginning, that was one of the problems with my career, was that I didn't really have a defined purpose. I knew I wanted to be successful. And that can be a purpose, of course. I don't think it's like the best purpose, but my purpose at the beginning was I kind of just wanted to be famous. I wanted people to recognize my work. I wanted people to recognize how talented I was and get that out there. And it was kind of a little bit empty, because I really didn't have that, foundation of a real why I wanted people to feel that way. It was kind of like more feeling a void, feeling a gap in my life. Maybe I didn't feel like I had gotten enough, attention, or I had the trauma, or I had a bunch of stuff going on. And so I filled that with like wanting people to see that I was doing well. And once I kind of shifted over to actually having a purpose for me, which was I want to make an impact. I want to do my art. I want it to impact people, and I want it to inspire people. That was the main thing I wanted to do at the beginning. Once I started doing that, I'm turning this into something where I'm infusing my emotions and all these things that I was doing before into the work with a purpose of like, I want this to, impact people. I want them to resonate with it. I want them to see that in my work and, have it like at least improve their day, or be cathartic at the very least, or something like that. And that worked much better. But I want to say to you that purpose is something that can change. It can evolve over time, and it should evolve over time, I believe. And that's something that's happened to me many times in my career. And now, even like with what's going on with me now, with this like horrible disease that's going on, I'm kind of changing my purpose, and I'm stacking purposes. You don't have to be like, look, I have this one purpose and that's it for the rest of my life. And if I don't fulfill that purpose, then nothing's working for me, or if I stray from that purpose, I'm not doing what I said I was doing. I'm not doing what I set out to do. No, I think you can stack purposes. I think they can change and evolve, and you can have multiple ones. Like when I started to do this podcast, my purpose was I want to inspire and I want to help artists to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to give them hope. I want to give them a little bit of a game plan. I want to give them obstacles that they can avoid that I hit, through my trial and error, through my career, and help them avoid that. I just really wanted to help artists feel like, what we're doing is meaningful, and to keep going, and that you have value, and, you can get there, and don't make the stupid mistakes I made along the way, which are many. But, I found out, and it kind of made me stronger. So that is my purpose with the podcast. I think even that's a little bit of a purpose in my art as well. But I still have that purpose of I want to impact people with my art. I want them to feel the emotions, the feelings, whatever I'm conveying in that work. I want that to resonate with the viewer, and I want that to inspire them. I want it to be something that they want to buy and collect and put in their home, and really have, a story behind it, that maybe they are interested in my story, which we've talked about being important too. It's similar to a purpose, but maybe they see the story in my work, but I want them to see their own story and create their own story with the work, kind of like stack off of my story and be like, this is what this artwork means to me. And then I want that to create value down the road for years and decades to come in that collector's house. And maybe they pass it down to their kids or whatever. That's important. And that is a purpose for me with my art. The purpose for me with my podcast has been to do that. What I just said, helping artists and inspiring artists, and, giving them a path that they can take, or, a series of paths, whatever, but just to be inspirational. Now, as I've been going through this horrible ailment that I've had for 4 years, that's gotten worse and it's gotten life-threatening, my purpose has not changed, but I have found another purpose along the way. It's something that I'm still working out, but it gives me kind of a goal, and it makes me want to fight harder to get better. And that purpose is to obviously get over this and get back to normal, get back to full strength, maybe even be better than normal. And then I want to turn around and share the story and help people. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to write a book about it. I haven't decided if I'm going to do like a separate podcast, or I'm just going to get in communities and share my story or whatever. But I want my purpose to be that this is what I did. I did so much trial and error with this too, finding things that worked for me, finding things that didn't work, finding things that might have caused a bad reaction. And I want to share that with people, because I know in my struggle finding other stories, finding little tips and like nuggets that I didn't even think, like I'd be listening to an interview with somebody and I'd be like, this is not so good. And then I'd find one little gem and I'd be like, oh, I can apply this to my life. That's what I want to be doing with what's happening with me now. That's what I want to be doing with the podcast. And that's what I want to be doing with my art. So those are 3 separate purposes that I have. Now, you can have a purpose in your life in general too. Maybe your purpose is to, become a parent, or maybe your purpose is to start your own practice so you can help people. You can have many different purposes out there. I'm not going to go through all of the variations, but I just want to share mine with you today, and my series of purposes, my purpose-I. Is it like, how do you say purposes in plural? My purpose-I. No, I wanted to share my purposes with you because I just want you to reflect on your own. Maybe you're in a little bit of a rut right now. Maybe you're having a hard time figuring out, the direction to go with your work, or maybe your work is not landing with people, or
I just MailChimped my marketing.
You MailChimped your what?
I MailChimped my marketing with AI to create an effective marketing campaign in minutes.
No, MailChimpin' way.
Yes, MailChimpin' way. Now I can hyper-personalize my campaigns across email and SMS.
You can do all that with MailChimp?
What did I just MailChimp and say?
MailChimp your marketing with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-ons. Visit MailChimp.com.
maybe it just feels, a little empty, or it's laying there flat. Well, a good thing to do always is to go back and to get really clear on your purpose. And if you don't have one, take some time. I think it's one of the most impactful things you can do for your life and your career is take a pause even on creating the work for a minute. And, go out there and figure it out. Discover yourself, whatever you need to do. Go on a walkabout, go to a sweat lodge, have a mystical experience. I don't know what it is for you, but do something that can impact you and help you to figure out what that purpose is for you. And I think once you get down to that, and once you feel it in your bones, you'll be like, oh, this is a light bulb moment for you. And you're not going to be able to help but infuse that into your work and into your life. And I think it'll just open up a whole lot of new doors, not just with your art career, but with how people see your work and how it lands and impacts them. And it's probably going to make people want to collect your work and, put you in more shows too. It's another one of those little intangible things that's in there. But also when people ask you and they want to figure out and find out about your story to make your work even more impactful for them when they collect it, you can tell them, they can feel this purpose with you. So that's just what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. I hope that it resonated with you. I hope you liked it. Even if you have a purpose, right now, you can always kind of dig in deeper and find more value and more nuance to this purpose. Maybe it's something that has changed. Maybe you're sticking to a purpose. You're like, no, I said I was going to do this 10 years ago, and this is what it is. I said I was going to do this. Got a little Bill Burr there. Listen, okay. You don't have to stick to one purpose. And if one is starting not to serve you anymore, it's time to redefine that. Go on a road trip, do some deep diving, get into some meditation, start a little focus group with your friends, figure it out, what is your new purpose? If you need to switch, maybe you're an artist and it's not working for you anymore and you want to leave the field. Maybe you don't want to do art anymore. That's okay. If that's what it is, if that's right for you, if that's what feels right and resonates with you, then don't just continue doing something for the rest of your life that is not going to make you happy. Now, obviously, we're all artists. That's why we're listening to this. So that's probably not you, but maybe it's just something that you need to refocus on and kind of re-envision your purpose for the next 10, 20 years of your art career. Yeah, let's just take some time to really dig deep and get clear on that. So that's it for today, everybody. That is the podcast. Hope it made some sense. And thank you for being patient and waiting a few hours for this to come out. Wishing you a great week, wishing you a great purpose, and we'll see you on the next episode.
You see, Mumford, now don't you feel bad after listening to that? Don't you feel bad about what you said at the beginning?
You know what, sir? I do. I really do. It's really given me some time to sit and reflect. And now I've come up with my new purpose. And that is this. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. 'Cause we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. What? No good? Whatever. I'm out of here, suckers!
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.